Hey guys, today we're going to look at an alternate way of stepping the foot forward from the back of the mat to come into standing poses. As you guys know, I think so many people struggle with that movement, and it makes a lot of sense. Stepping to one foot to the front of the mat from downward facing dog, or even from hands and knees, requires an incredible amount of strength and mobility in so many areas of the body. The shoulders, the upper back, you need to be able to really protract the shoulder blades and round the spine. The hip flexors, you need to be able to really deeply pull the thigh in towards the belly with the strength of your hip flexors. So there needs to be both the mobility to do that and the strength to do that. The glutes as well. If the glutes are tight, it'll make that movement really hard. So it's hard for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. For many people for several reasons. So, and then some students, and you guys may have seen this as well, some students with, as they get stronger and more mobile and they get more experienced in their asana practice, that movement gets easier. And some people, can be really strong and mobile and very experienced in their yoga practice in lots of ways and still struggle with that movement. So I think it's good to have a lot of different ways to work with that. If, and you don't have to be in downward dog and step one foot forward over and over again, right? There's so many other ways to structure a class. You can, and you guys have probably done this. I've certainly done this with private clients, done an entire practice that felt flowing and fluid and grounded and like a more traditional yoga class that had no downward facing dog. Starting from the top of the mat and moving around in all kinds of unique ways. So there's lots of ways to work with this, but I want to give you guys a couple different tools. If you're teaching a practice that has people step forward, which I definitely do sometimes, and people are struggling, here are some ideas. So this one I'll show you today, and I've got more coming up later. I started doing with a private client of mine who has a lot of stuff going on in one of her hips. Some genetic stuff and some injury, and it's very limited in its mobility, particularly to come into flexion of the thigh at the hip joint, this movement here. And so stepping forward with her hands grounded, even on blocks, is completely out of the question on that one side. And she really loves it, and it took me a while to figure this out, but she really loves it when we can do a practice that feels like she remembers yoga feeling before her hip became a problem. So flowing and fluid with a rhythmic kind of metronome kind of quality. So got creative and found some things that work really nicely for her. And then it worked so well with her that when I've had group classes with a lot of people who are struggling to step a foot forward for whatever reason, I have put this in there a few different times so people know this as an option. So I'll show you what it looks like. Make sure my microphone's on. Okay. And this won't work for everybody, but this works for her, and so let me offer it to you. Always have hands on blocks to make a lot of space in the front of this hip crease, so there's not a lot of collapsing there. And do a couple rounds of a simple cat-cow, breathing into extension and breathing out to flexion. Just, to get the spine moving, to feel the breath moving, breathing in and breathing out. And then inhale to a neutral spine and exhale to sit back on the shins. And this is a movement that is comfortable for her. Of course, it's not for everybody, so you'll adjust as you need to in your group classes. But again, to get that feeling of flow and vinyasa and breath coordinated with movement without having to step the foot forward, this is what I do. A couple rounds of cat-cow, come to sit back on the shins. Sweep both arms out to the side and all the way up on an inhale, and a side bend on the exhale. Both arms back up on the breath in, upright twist. Left arm forward, right arm back on the breath out. Both arms up on the inhale. Come to stand up on the shins, hands on the hips on the exhale. Now, not everybody will be able to do this next part, but some people will. And it's an interesting balance challenge. Standing up on the shins, hands on the hip, we shift the weight to the left leg, lift the right foot out, and step it forward. Again, that's going to be hard for some people, and I've had some people do it, like I'll have the blocks ready, So we have the blocks ready. Stand up on the shins, put a little weight into this hand, and then step a foot forward. So that's an option as well. And then repeat some of those same arms. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, little side bend. Both arms up on the breath in. Upright twist on the breath out. Both arms up on the inhale. Hands to your hips, right knee next to left knee on the exhale. Sweep the arms forward, up and back on the breath in, and then place the hands on the floor, hands and knees on the breath out. And we do all of that on the second side. So I'll do it so you can see how it still has this really flowy, rhythmic quality. No need to struggle to step a foot forward. So it's inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. And inhale, extension of the spine, and exhale, flexion of the spine. Neutral spine on the breath in, hips to heels on the breath out. Arms all the way out and up, full breath in. Left hand down on the breath out. Two arms up on the inhale, upright twist, right arm forward, left arm back on the exhale. Come to lift the arms up on the breath in, stand on your shins, hands on the hips on the breath out. You can take a cycle of breath sometimes to get organized here, and then just shift the weight and slide the foot out, step it forward. Sweep both arms up, breathe in. Left hand down, side bend on the breath out. Two arms up, inhale, upright twist, right arm forward, left arm back, exhale. Both arms up on the breath in. Keep the arms reaching up. Bring the left knee back on the breath out. Big inhale, sweep the arms up and back, open the chest, and use the exhale to bring the hands back onto the blocks. Repeat and add on. So it completely takes the hands off the floor. Hands are on the hips. Again, you have to watch with balance, but you can, some people can really quite nicely slip their foot out and just step it forward. You can do a whole sequence, whatever you like. You've got the big breath in to bring the arms up and back. Use the exhale to put the hands down on the breath out. And you can really drop into this nice rhythm without people struggling to step a foot forward. So give that a try yourself with your students. Let me know how it goes and what questions you have.